Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's Transformation Talk. I'm here today with Erin Giles, who is a business philanthropy consultant and the founder of End Sex Trafficking Day. So thank you so much for being here, Erin.
Thank you for having me, Alana. It's a pleasure.
I am really excited to talk with you because your story is so inspiring. And I want to take us back to, I think it was 2011 when you quit your full-time job and went like full-time entrepreneur. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this work. And it didn't work.
I was crushed.
And you talk about having to go on food stamps and you know what. So tell us a little bit about what that time was like for you.
Well, after my daughter was born, I knew within a couple months that I just could not sit at that desk any longer. It was killing me. And I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just never was clear on the what or the how or, what I would be doing. So at a certain point, I said to my husband, look, I can't do it anymore. We have to have some sort of plan. And, he called me and he's like, okay, June, you're leaving in June. June it is. I'm like, okay, great. So, we were getting amped up and I did the Spark Kit, which, is now Fire Starter Sessions. And so I was getting clarity on really who I was and in the entrepreneur land and how I could help women. And we just felt so much peace and we just kept having all these affirmations like, yes, we're doing the right thing. This is going to be great for our daughter, great for Erin. And it just didn't work out that way. I quit in June, like the day before my birthday. And within 2 weeks, my husband got laid off. And I just was like, I have a relationship with God. And so I just was like, why is this happening? Like, I'm like, what did I do? Of course, you start feeling, what did I do wrong? Maybe I wasn't supposed to leave. Then I started feeling guilty and just all these awful things going on. So, of course, that's what led us to get onto food stamps, which, is really when the whole ego pride started playing a role because here I am, 2 degrees and basically making no money. And sure, I've got an amazing website because my husband is a graphic designer, but I was maybe making like $500 a month. And it was very discouraging. And I started feeling like I was going to have to work at Old Navy or something part-time. And I just couldn't. I just kept telling my husband, I just can't. I'd be crying all the time. I just can't do it. Please don't make me. And he wasn't. He's been so supportive. And we saw a documentary about sex trafficking in November of 2011, and by New Year's Eve, it was still on my mind, still in my heart, these millions of women being trapped and sold every year, every day, and I knew I had to do something, and I was starting to feel like I was going to quit my business. Like I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew I had to do something, and so, the idea came for End Sex Trafficking Day, and I started all the work for that and started inviting writers and, getting a clear vision for that and went through the raising the money part and in Morning Whip with Erica Learmark, another amazing testimony for her because she's been so incredible in my business journey. She's like, Erin, this is what you need to be helping women in business do. This has been such an amazing thing for you because really it was. I made so many connections with so many amazing people that it just started, even just to have them as friends or be able to get advice for them is amazing.
So let me just, for people who don't know,
yes,
End Sex Trafficking Day was a day in October, right?
Yes.
And what you did was you pulled together 60 different entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And they all wrote an article, entrepreneurs and writers, and they all wrote an essay for the book, End Sex Trafficking Day. And then all of the proceeds went to
the Not For Sale campaign. Yeah.
Right.
So, 30 days, like we went through this thing which was, of course, Erica's idea, where in 30 days I raised $10,000 so that the book could be published. And that's really where a lot of lessons were learned. The whole principle of asking was huge. I never knew I had an issue with asking until I started doing that. But it's been amazing, for my personal life and for my business. And, interviews started coming and people started emailing to work with me, and it just all started coming together. And, once I put my genuine self, my genuine passions into my business, it just was like, voila, here it is. It's landed in your lap. You don't have to sit and figure it out and, be puzzled anymore. So it's amazing.
So all that why God, like, why did I do this?
Yeah.
It got clear.
Yeah. I mean, I just needed to be patient and just trust, the process.
Yeah. So the book is still for sale. Anybody can buy it. And all of the author proceeds go towards the Not For Sale campaign still?
Yes.
Yeah. So really amazing book if people want to pick it up. Seth Godin, Danielle Laporte, like you got some really fantastic people to contribute.
Yes, amazing people. And there's even people in there that work within the anti-human trafficking realm. So the book's broken into 3 topics of love, freedom, and knowledge. And like I said, broken up. So there's essays on all 3 of those topics. So yes, it's a good book. Check it out. Go buy it. And sextraffickingday.com. But it's on Amazon. So
on Amazon. And what did you say, the web, and sextraffickingday.com?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have it on my Kindle, which is hard to kind of pull up and show on screen because I don't have the hard copy. But
no, I know, and I have like 50 of them in my office, but I'd have to run over there right now. So
that's okay. People can find it. Excuse me. So tell me about the sort of your personal transformation as all of this was happening. Like what happened to you?
Well, in the beginning part, I was very confused, questioning, like I said, questioning my decision, questioning my skills as an entrepreneur, all of that. Just, everything was just a big question of confusion. But once, and Sex Trafficking Day really started rolling out, it's funny because you go through this where you're really excited about it. Like when people start saying yes to your movement, whatever it is, you're like, yes, like this is going to make a difference. This is going to do something. And then like about the time that the book was about to be released, I kind of was like, then you start questioning things again. Like, how many books am I going to sell? What people are, what authors are going to email their list. And, people are like, wow, what you've done is so amazing. And then you start being like, oh yeah, thanks. Like you start I started downplaying it again. And after there was a bit of an issue with getting the book, it was not in my hands. It was a bit of an issue with the publisher and getting the book on Amazon on Sex Trafficking Day. Mm-hmm. And I was crushed. I mean, absolutely crushed. I felt like all of my work was totally for nothing. And I felt like my reputation was on the line. And all these big authors were going to be like, the book's not even on Amazon. The Kindle version was up that day, but not the paperback, which I think it was up the following day. So it was no big deal. But and so, of course, that affected sales. And my goal was at least to raise the amount that I raised to get the book published. And, it's been, almost a year. It's probably been about 9 months now, or less, 7 months or something, since the book's been up for sale. And it's probably raised about $3,000. And so I went through months of being incredibly disappointed, thinking, oh my God, I raised all this money to get the book published. And now I can't even send that money to Not For Sale. So this year the model is totally different. The book is still up for sale. That money is still going to Not For Sale. But this year it's going to be a 4-week-long campaign, just like I did for raising the money to get the book published. So I thought, okay, if I did $10,000 a month last year, and this year I have help, so I'm like, I can totally do it again. So it's going to be 4 prints. The first week is themed on awareness. The second week, prevention, third week, rescue, and the fourth week, recovery. And I've approached four artists that I absolutely love, and they've all created prints that will sell each one of those weeks. And each week, the money from the print is going to a nonprofit that deals in that work. So maybe a nonprofit that works solely on awareness. So I'm really excited. I really like the model. I kind of looked at what Sevenly does and kind of, aligned it with that. And so I'm super excited about that. The idea is just to, let it evolve. Yeah. Don't let it crush you, the disappointment and feeling like you didn't do something big enough, because really when it comes down to it, when I think about what's most important to me, it's not the money. It's not how much money I raise, because I could raise $1 million and sex trafficking will still be going on. I came to the realization that really for me it was about awareness, because there's so many people that still have no clue what it is, have no clue what's going on. And it's also about inspiring other people to take on a movement, take on some sort of project that can make a difference for a cause that they're passionate about. Mm-hmm. So I came to that realization, and then I started to chill out and just be happy with it. So yes, that's been my evolution of feelings along this journey.
Yeah, well, thank you for being really candid about that, because it just seems like it would be a real roller coaster, and there is that hope and that expectation of like, I want to give them a huge check, and but I mean, $3,000 is still $3,000 more than they would have had, and
I couldn't give $3,000 when I started, so hey, it is what it is.
And so now you work with any entrepreneurs or women entrepreneurs specifically?
I'm branching out. I actually do have my first male client right now. Cool. My website copy is a little bit geared more towards women, just because I feel like that's who I want to target. But hey, it's just like Marie Forleo. She's like, hey, if a guy wants to come to RHH Live, he can come. So, if a guy is trying to make a difference with his business and, wants to do some consulting with me, I'm all over it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you offer, you do some consulting, and then you offer Rocket Your Revolution. So tell us a little bit about that.
That is a 6-week online course that really takes you from the very beginning to trying to figure out what cause you're passionate about, to the very end where you're creating your campaign, raising the money, trying to get PR for it. So it's available in self-study and a live version in the fall. So I love it. It's tons of fun. We even have a theme song. So rocketyourrevolution.com. Throw that out there.
Well, and you and your husband, did you create the theme song?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you sing and I love it. So much fun.
I tell you what, my business would not be existing without him. I mean, everything he's able to help me with is such a blessing.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I know you've worked with a couple people. Actually, I've interviewed someone that you've worked with. Mm-hmm. When you talk to people who feel like they want to do something more with their business, like what do you say?
Well, the very first place we have to begin is finding a cause they're passionate about, which is why my course starts there, because I don't want to be the person to teach you to do cause marketing, which is another term for it, just to get your name out there and be like, hey, look what we're doing, Right. It's about choosing something you're passionate about, and ultimately, your profits can make a difference in, or your time can make a difference in. So the blunt question that I tend to ask clients is, okay, what's going on in the world that just pisses you off? Because that's how it was for me with sex trafficking. Like, my cheeks got red, I started crying, I thought about it for weeks. I mean, just like you usually know when you meet your future spouse, like you just know, like you're fired up, you're lit up about it, and you want to tell people about it. So that is ultimately where all the work begins, is finding a cause you're passionate about. Mm-hmm.
And then you help people. Do you help people sort of build it into their business model, or is there a range? Because you kind of did it separately, and then your business model evolved out of it.
Yes.
And I know some people set up separate nonprofits, like separate from their business. And then do you have people who build it into their model as well?
Yes. And that's actually where my business has just started shifting in the last couple months. Is I used to solely work with people that wanted to, do something separate, maybe once a year, or maybe just give profits to something. Well, I started to realize that I was really passionate about helping people create their whole business around it, their whole purpose, their sole focus. So it's in their copy, it's on the front page. There's, more than just a page about it. Mm-hmm. And that's where my private consulting, my one-on work is coming in. Sales page isn't up yet. I've managed to have 3 clients already come out of the woodworks. It's called Movement Maker Sessions, and that's where I help. Basically, if you want the definition word of it, it's it's helping a business become a social enterprise, which is like Tom's or Better World Books, where their sole purpose is around it, rather than just becoming like a social entrepreneur who has, and both are fine, believe me, both are amazing, but there's a distinct difference between the two.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question which you may not have an answer to, but I'm really curious about your opinion. So I had a conversation last year with a friend of mine who works in the nonprofit world.
Yeah.
And she was kind of upset about this whole social entrepreneurship because she said what's happening is that the regular consumer is going, oh, I can buy a pair of Tom's shoes, so now I don't have to donate to Save the Children.
Yeah.
So how, like, I don't know, do you have any sort of thoughts on...
Well, I will say that I spoke with a woman in the field of, I'm so sorry, I forget her business name, but they're a pretty big business. I think they have at least 50 employees. They're out west, and they help business, I think it's just banks. They help banks build like a volunteer and like charity-based thing into their business. So she said, this is a growing trend. She's like, it's going to be more about, the businesses that are doing good rather than the nonprofits. It's going to be a huge shift. I mean, especially in the next decade or two. And I mean, I used to work for a nonprofit for 4 years. So on one side, I'm like, nonprofits are definitely needed. Of course, they serve a huge purpose, and that's what, what their bread and butter is. That's what they live for, is to do that. It's not just an aspect of their business. So if someone has a nonprofit that they're really deeply tied to, and you love their work, or maybe they're local and you know what they've done in your life or somebody else's life, gosh, by all means, stay connected to them and keep donating to them. And that's, one of the things you can do with your business. You can, profits can go to that. But on the other side, I mean, I'm proud of all these business owners doing this, because it's like, why not? We have the capability to, use our innovative ideas and as solutions to big problems that are going on in the world. So why not? Yeah. Right? We have the more tools than ever before online. We have a bigger social network on social media, and we can make our own decisions every day in our own business. So why would we not want to step up and be more responsible?
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I know as a consumer, I would rather buy from a company that I know is being socially responsible. Or like there's a jewelry company here in Ojai, I Love Heels, that for every piece of jewelry sold, they plant 10 trees in Ethiopia, and they've planted over 600,000 trees at this point. And so I feel I'm going to buy the jewelry anyway, but I'm going to buy it from a company that I know is also doing good in the world.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So why not buy from companies that are doing good and still give to the nonprofit that you love?
Exactly.
Do both.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, well, thank you. I was just really curious about your take on that side of things. All right, well, I am going to finish up with my last 3 questions. Awesome. And if people want to know more about Rocket Your Revolution and End Sex Trafficking Day, they can find you at eringiles.com and at endsextraffickingday.com.
Yes,
and
we'll all the links are on eringiles.com. So.
Yeah. And we'll have your bio and everything too. So, okay. So if you could wave a magic wand and change anything about the world, what would it be?
Of course, it's stop sex trafficking. That's the first thing that's going to come to my mind. I mean, there's a million things I would love to change, but I mean, the fact that now more than ever people are enslaved. I mean, even compared to when Black people, African Americans were enslaved, more than ever. It's close to 30 million people. And it's not something that we, see every day, but it's going on probably in almost every city in the United States. I mean, half an hour away from me, there was just a newspaper report about, somebody being arrested for it. So it's everywhere. It's just, so yes, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I could go on, but I won't.
Yeah, well, I know what's happening here in Southern California. There's a ton of it with all the migrant farm workers, agricultural workers who come up illegally. Okay, what brings you the most joy? Freedom, for sure. Just got done talking with Erica about that.
freedom to be able to step away from my business for a couple of days to spend time with my family or to go to the beach or, just freedom. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Nice. And what is one fun or interesting thing about you that makes you uniquely you?
I got a bunch. I'm trying to think of a good one. That's a good question. Okay, I got it. Well, obviously, as you can tell, I feel the need to be unique. I got the teal stripe, and it's funny, I've just started having these revelations about other things I used to do. So in high school, I would always wear like a little round clear gem right here. Like I would literally glue it to my face every morning. How weird is that? I don't know where I got the idea from. I don't know if someone else did it or what, but I would just always have a little gem right here, and I just loved it to pieces, and everybody knew that was my thing. And so now I'm totally transitioned to the teal in my hair, but it's just funny, feel the need to be a little different. I don't know where that comes from, but that's a little something unique.
I love it. I can see you wearing it.
Yeah, I know. I would totally bring it back if I went out and bought some. I would so do it.
That's great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing yourself with us today and for all the work you're doing in the world. It's so great.
Thank you for what you do, and thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Have a great day.